As Iran war enters its third week, Iran has deployed one of the most potent missile it has in its arsenal. It is called as Sejjil missile. Interestingly, it is also referred by the name of dancing missile. So why is it called dancing missile? What is its unique feature? How deadly it is? And can it really change the equation on battlefield? Let us try to understand its entire detail. Now, to give you background of this entire discussion, we know that Iran war today has entered the 17th day. The conflict that began somewhere in the end of February already is raging on, and now several countries, especially in the West Asia Gulf region, are being impacted here. The strategic ballistic missile in this context was launched recently by Iran targeting Israel, and this was a part of the operation Iran launched as a retaliatory attack called as Operation True Promise, the fourth phase. So if you talk about the situation of war, Iran missiles and drone waves, continuously we are hearing news about it. Iran not only has targeted Israeli territory in this time, but also has targeted all the Gulf nations which are largely allies of United States of America, whether it is Saudi Arabia, whether it is United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, etc. And several countries have been largely impacted by this waves of missiles and barrages of drone. Iran is continuously sending, targeting important infrastructure as well as the oil infrastructure of these regions. Now, it seems that because of the influence Iran exercised over the Strait of Hormuz, the war, which was supposed to end in a couple of days, is dragging on, and there is a very high possibility of the entire war escalating further in the future and engulfing the entire region in such. Now, Dubai recently, in this case, also we have seen a drone that struck around the Dubai airport that led to cancellations and suspensions of flight operation there. Now, if you talk about in this context, Operation True Promise fourth phase, as Iran refers it, it is a retaliatory measure. It is a war to respond against the killing of the supreme leader, and the 54th wave under this particular operation is recently being launched by Iran. Now, Israeli military infrastructure was also targeted in this case, and especially command centers located in Tel Aviv was targeted here. Air operation facilities was also the target. So, in this context, for the first time, Iran has used a missile that it calls by the name of Sejjil missile. If we try to understand the characteristic or feature of this missile, it is example of surface to surface ballistic missile. Surface to surface means it can be launched from the surface, and the target also is on the land surface itself. It is also referred by other names such as Ashura or Ashura. It is a two-stage missile, and most interestingly, it is fueled by a solid fuel. Now, why is it important? Because most of the missiles that Iran uses or it generally has in its arsenal are liquid fuel driven. Now, when a missile is launched using liquid fuel, the preparation time for launching a missile is relatively longer, because the liquid fuel has to be first of all put inside the launcher system, and then missile is fired. Also, the portability or movement of liquid fuel missile is relatively difficult. On the other hand, solid fuel propelled missile can easily be maneuvered, moved, and can be even hidden in the bunkers if there is a possibility of aerial attack by enemies. That's what makes this particular missile system very agile, maneuverable, portable, and deadliest in the arsenal of Iran. It was developed in Iran as well, as most of the media news has reported. However, some of the experts argue that missile might have been developed by the China and then was supplied to Iran, or some sort of Chinese assistance was made available to Iran as well. If you look at the key specifications of this missile, as you can see, it is about 18-meter long, diameter is 1.25 meter, weight is 23,600 kg, and it is able to carry a warhead of about 700 kilogram. This warhead can be conventional as well as nuclear warhead. Conventional as well nuclear capable missiles, we can say, is a missile. If we take a look at the range, so missile has significant range, 2000 kilometers as stated by Iranian military. That means if you look at the distance, even from the Tehran, which is far, far away from the Iranian border, the Tel Aviv, which is the capital of Israel, it is just 1000 miles. And that's why it can easily be targeted by Sejjil missile, and that's what Iran has proven here. And as far as the other Gulf regions are concerned, countries are concerned, you can see that because missiles can easily be moved on the we can say is kind of transportable, launcher can be used here, trucks can be used here. So anywhere Iran can send missile and can use it to target the nearby countries of Arabian Peninsula as well. So as per the recent report, to reach Tel Aviv from Tehran, missile would take about 7 minutes, and that gives a very small response window to the Israeli defense forces and Israeli air defense system. Quick launch capability we have discussed, because simply it is a solid fuel propelled missile and it is used for the striking strategic places or strategic, we can say, targets of strategic value in Iran as such. It's not that Iran has used this missile for the first time in history. Even in the month of June 2025, when 12-day war was waged between Israel and Iran, the statement was given by the Iranian embassy in India that the 12th wave of Operation True Promise, that time it was called as third, has been launched, and this has begun with the launch of ultra heavy, long range and two-stage Sejjil missiles. Sejjil missile powered by solid fuel with long-range capabilities are among Iran's most accurate missile system. Now, interestingly, if you look at the photograph that was given by the Iranian government, we can see the path of missiles seems to be not very straight, not very, we can say, kind of parabolic in nature, but it is zigzagging, and that's why it is called as dancing missile. That makes it very deadly. So why we call it as dancing missile? Again, if you look at the picture, you can see the path it takes is kind of zigzag, kind of dancing path, kind of regular maneuvering path. So the reason behind it is simple. The missile has high maneuverability capability. Why? Because if you compare most of the ballistic missiles, suppose it is fired from place A, it takes a fixed parabolic path. It first exits the atmosphere, then re-enters the atmosphere, and again then strike the target, suppose at B. So this flight pattern is fixed, and that's why the what you can call as the use of air defense system to neutralize such target becomes easier, because the air defense system then tracks what path would missile take, and then it sends the what you can call as the missile systems, and then these missiles can target it easily. But the problem with this missile, Sejjil missile, is that it is maneuverable and its flight path can be adjusted in different phases of its flight. So that's what becomes very difficult to intercept, because even if air defense system fires a missile salvo to target this, the missile can change its path, and that's why the air defense system cannot easily target it. So it creates a very big challenge, huge challenge for the air defense system. That's why we have described it as one of the most potent weapon that Iran has in its arsenal, and now it is not shying away from using it, as we have seen in the case of strike in Israel just yesterday on Sunday. If you look at briefly the history of development of this missile, so late 1990s is when experts argue this missile was developed, at least the first version. It was based on other missile that Iran used to use before. It was called as Jayanagara missile. First successful test was completed in 2008. Then Sejjil 2 was tested in 2009. And even some people argue that there is a possibility of Sejjil 3 that Iran is developing. And as per the recent report, it is believed Sejjil 3 will not be having only longer range, it is also more potent, can carry larger volume or amount of warhead as such. So as per the recent report, Sejjil 3 is going to have a range of roughly 4,000 kilometers. That means a large part of the different countries, especially American allies, part of Europe, also could be impacted by this missile system. If you look at the overall situation of war that is unfolding in Israel, we have seen that from both sides there is no any indication of de-escalation effort, and strikes is continuously being seen in Israel also. Gulf bases are continuously being targeted by Iran as such. Infrastructure damage we have seen, for example, in Bahrain, the Fifth Fleet of United States, where it is a station, there also we have seen significant damage. United States itself has lost 4 different aircraft, 3 fighter jet aircraft and 1 transporter aircraft in this case, and over 2,000 deaths have been reported. Many innocent civilians have been caught in crossfire and they have lost their life, unfortunately. As far as the ceasefire talks are concerned, Donald Trump, the president of the United States, has clearly indicated in his recent statement that Iran is trying to have some sort of ceasefire, but he is not happy with the deal of ceasefire. That means what deal it is? When he was asked, he did not say that what he want exactly. He said that I cannot tell you to the media persons, but to some extent it can be understood the Trump administration as well as Israel would want a guarantee from Iranian regime that they would not pursue any nuclear ambition, nuclear weapon development ambition in the future. Then only there can be some possibility of de-escalation and possibility of ceasefire in the future as such. As of now, it seems that conflict is keeping on conflict is going on and the path of escalation, and that would be bad news not only for Iran, Israel, US, but for many countries on the world, in the world, who are dependent heavily on this particular area for their oil and gas supply. So that's all for this particular video. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with your aspirants, as well as subscribe to the channel for more such content. Thank you very much.